It's Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor. Yeah, it's Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor.
Well, here's a news flash for our podcast. Scientists say don't take health advice from how do you say it?
Centenarians? People who are over 100.
Yeah,
Let's put it that
old
way.
coots. Because how many times you've seen a story, some old timer, and he's 100 years old and he says, I had 6 scotches a day and 16 packs of smokes and I fought in the war and I'm still here and I had an asbestos chaser to go.
Well, this woman she died just recently at the age of 117.
Yeah.
And she said that she smoked until just recently, but she was too blind to light her own cigarettes. That's the only reason she gave up towards the end. But often, like there's other old people who say that they had a glass of port every day, 2 pounds of chocolate every week, drinking whiskey. So it's inevitable that when someone's that old, people are going to say, what's the key?
Yeah.
But scientists, funnily enough, are saying don't take health advice from these people because it's really very little to do with how they're living. It's to do with their genetics and coincidence and pretty much luck.
It's luck.
Yeah. Do you want to live to be over 100?
Oh, I'm reading that Leanne Moriarty book at the moment and the premise of the book is this lady on a flight from Hobart to Sydney takes it upon herself to dispense all the psychic advice to people. But I think she has a medical episode where she doesn't know what she's doing. But she walks
Don't tell me too much. Don't tell me too much.
But this is just the premise to get you over the line.
Right.
So she's walking down the corridor of the plane saying, expected age of death, 94. Cause of death, pneumonia. Expected age of death, 37. Cause of death, domestic violence, to all these people on the plane. And people are bemused by it. Other people are freaked out by it. So I'm at the part where no one has actually died yet in the book. But it's really your own mortality.
Even if you didn't believe it, it would freak you out. It's like pointing the bone, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like someone saying to you, which is probably what that's why psychics are never specific. They don't sort of say you're going to cark it because who could survive that information? Because that's the biggest knowledge we have in our life. And it's amazing we find a place for it, is that we're all going to die.
Oh, that's
and we don't know when and where and how.
Do you remember?
And we have to get on with life or else you'd die under the weight of the anxiety if we all
you got to live your life
too much.
But do you remember the first time you found out that you were going to die?
I remember going through a phase when I was scared that my parents would die. I still remember this very clearly. I was maybe 4 or 5, something like that. And every time they left the house, I was anxious that they were going to die. So that must have been my first knowledge of what that meant.
I remember very vividly we were driving in the car and Dad was talking about his Auntie Bessie who had passed away. And I said, so what does that mean, passed away? And he said, well, she's dead. She's not coming back. I remember saying, what's dead? And Dad said, well, dead is... And he laughed, dead's no more, mate. That's what it is. And I went, oh, sucks to be Aunt Bessie. And then I sat there just looking out the window. And then my mum pipes in and goes, we're all going to die. And I went, what, me, including me? And she said, well, eventually you, when you're an old man. And I went,
yeah,
hang on.
That's how we get through it. We tell kids it happens when you're very, very old and you're ready to go.
But this is all new information to me, little 5-year-old Jonesy.
Do we sit our kids down and tell them? I don't think when we say, no, but what I mean is we don't do it.
No.
So we talk about birds and the bees.
Yeah.
No. We say, when did you hear about the birds and the bees? But we just assume somewhere along the line we take in the knowledge of death. We don't have the death conversation.
No. And who wants the death conversation?
No. I was saying to my oldest son, when he started to get a loose tooth, I said, oh, your teeth are going to fall out. And Jack, who's 2 years younger from the other room, says, what? He thought overnight all his teeth would just go at once, which is pretty much what happens.
What?
So some people take information better than others.
Poor Jack. But
Poor Jack.
It's I don't know, it's like your own mortality. I often find riding a motorcycle to be very therapeutic in the sense that you never feel so alive as when you're so close to death. And I push the odds every day because I ride every day and I've done it for a long time now. And I often think about it and I'm always more scared of my motorcycle when I'm not on it Like right now, talking to you, part of me in the back of my mind says, I've just got to give them up. I've got to stop. But you know what? I reckon as soon as I give them up, I'll die in a horrible Volvo car accident or something like that.
Well, you've got it all planned because that's what that woman on the plane said to you.
Don't even talk to me about that.
Don't.
That
That'll freak me right out.
Because what would you do if a woman came up and said that to you?
That's right. That's the thing. You'd spend your whole life looking for the Volvo that's going to hit you.
You want someone to come up and you just want good fortune.
You don't want to hear anything. Just live your life every day. Live your life every day. Because as Harley says, we all have an asteroid coming for us. We all do. So live your life because you never know when, where, how.
Yeah, exactly. And psychics, keep your pie hole shut.
Keep your pie hole shut.
Unless someone asks for it. No unsolicited oogity boogity
advice.
stuff. Yeah.
Do you hear that, centenarians? Same goes for you.
Yeah, keep your good genes to yourself.
It's Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor.
What sweepings do we have today?
Have you ever been to a gallery and seen a painting and you thought, I wonder what it smells like? Not many people have, but a gallery in the UK is using scent alongside the painting. It's in Birmingham. And so, for example, The Blind Girl, a painting from 1854, shows a blind girl and her companion residing beside a meadow. And accompanying that will be the smell of fresh, wet grass and damp earth, evoking the English countryside after the rain.
Oh.
Another one, a painting called A Saint of the Eastern Church, with a man with a halo who holds an incense burner. You'll be able to smell the incense and the wood from the church's interior.
Goodness.
The scents are released by individual visitors when they press a button on a nearby diffuser. I think that's quite incredible. I wonder what people will make of dogs playing poker or maybe Piss Christ.
Well, yeah. Or going into Mona. Oh, have I walked into the fish markets?
Well, you're talking about, as my French hairdresser used to call, the wall of vagine. But also there they actually have a contraption that simulates the making of a human fecal.
Whether you can smell that.
Thing. Then you can smell it.
You actually smell that.
You actually smell it, 3 o'clock poo. And you see the build-up and there it goes.
It's like here at work when you head off to the loo with the form guide under your arm.
None of that is true. Did you ever remember Divine Brown?
Yep. You think you're a man, but you're only a boy.
Divine Brown was a drag queen who was in a John Waters film called Polyester. And Polyester, this was in 1981, and I remember it was such a big deal, had scratch and sniff accompanying the movie. So you were given a sheet of different little swatches and a particular scene in the movie, they'd say scratch, and you'd scratch, and they had the smell of flowers.
Nice.
Pizza.
Nice.
Glue.
Oh, yeah, it depends. What sort of glue?
Doesn't specify.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with the smell of glue. I like it.
Yeah, well it can be addictive, though.
I wish they'd had Texter.
Texter's great.
Yeah.
Many times we see you with your little Hitler moustache that you've drawn on.
Well, I'm just incidentally sniffing.
Amanda's been on the pens again.
It also apparently had the smell of gas. Does that mean petrol or gas?
Oh, I reckon would be petrol.
No, I think it'd be farts.
In America, gas is is petrol.
It also had the smell of freshly cut grass.
Nice.
And feces.
Of course, it's a divine movie. Of course.
That was a big deal. But apparently that was the film that came out, as I said, in 1981. But the first Scent of Mystery was the name of the film. Back in 1940, I think, there was a film called French.
Yeah.
And it had smell-o-vision.
Yeah.
So, but apparently the smells reached the audience members at the wrong time, which diminished their full effect. So you're leaning in to smell a pizza and you get feces.
It's like seeing a Rob Schneider film.
You know that's going to be feces before you go in.
I can smell. I no need to go in. It smells like shit to me.
Hello, Rob, if you're listening.
Yeah, everybody, it's time for Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor. Hey, everybody, it's time for Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor. It's the cutting room floor. Yeah. It's Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor. Yeah.
You like to go for an evening stroll?
This is it's an interesting thing, what I've been reading about. Lots of people like to have an evening stroll. See people out walking their dogs.
After dinner, just strolling along.
Yeah. Well, there's an influencer who has said exactly what it is. It's a fart walk. This is where you have a walk after dinner to just get your digestive juices going and get the farts out. So a fart walk is apparently a 10, 20-minute stroll at a moderate pace after your evening meal to aid digestion. The influencer, and wellness influencer, Marilyn Smith, posted about fart walks, and lots of people are now doing them. So people have said, she has said she eats a lot of fibre.
Yep.
So as she says, she's got a lot of gas. I eat a lot of fibre. I like eating a lot of raw onion.
You've got a lot of gas.
Well, maybe. She said the beauty of a fart walk is that you fart when you walk, and therefore you're getting rid of your farts.
Yeah, I've seen you walking along and I thought, gee, a bit more choke, that thing would start.
Why do people walk along with their dogs so you can,
Blame the dog.
Yeah, though dogs don't do noisy ones.
That's handy.
Do you remember that time, to my shame, I was once walking along with Liam and we're coming to an intersection on the road and I passed a little bit of wind and there's a person who came right round the corner just then and I said, Liam, please.
Please.
And I blamed him.
Was it loud enough or stinky?
No, it was never stinky. Mine are never stinky.
That's what you say.
Well, yeah, that's what I say. I don't think they're ever stinky.
Yeah. Have you ever had a situation, you're in a car and you rip one out and it's so bad and other people are in the car?
No, Brendan.
Oh, that's the worst.
When have you ripped one out in front of other people?
In the car, sometimes it happens. I always remember one time I was working at a radio station and we had to go on one of those, remember those car rally things you'd go on? It's a bonding thing. Yeah. You get in a car.
I'd throw up with
and you got to go and
nauseous.
Get some clues and then,
awful.
So I had this hangover from hell. I'd drunk about 50,000 VBs the night before. Anyone that knows anything about VB, you drink a lot of the green can and it can really play havoc with the gas in your guts. So we're in this car and I'm in a car with people I don't know and we're driving along and my guts are just roiling. And it wasn't poo-poo guts. It was just, I just got to let out a big one. And I knew that I could control it to a silent but deadly. But the deadly part I was worried about.
Well, you think you can do the silent. You never know until it's happening.
No, because to do a silent, what you do is you lift your chair and you just grab one hand on your cheek.
As if they wouldn't see you doing that.
I was in the back seat.
As if they wouldn't see you.
No, what you do you do this?
No, I've never done that. Whatever
you don't rip your cheek open a bit so it opens up the area.
No.
So it just comes out silent. And
like
works.
a John Pertwee.
It works every time. I could do it now. If I needed to, I could go. I do it all the time in the studio. Do
you?
Yeah, but I don't drink VB anymore. So
when you're at work.
Yeah.
And so you did a big stinker.
So what? No, what? I couldn't. I thought this is going to smell like hell, and I knew.
You know we're recording this.
Yeah, I knew. I was working in Wollongong at the time, and the Port Kembla Steelworks. I could see them in the distance. We were about 5 k's from the Port Kembla Steelworks, and I said maybe the clues that we need are near the steelworks.
Come on.
So
maybe the clue's in my bum.
the guy driving the car said, well, do you think so? But the clue clearly is pointing us towards Kiama Beach. I said, yeah, but maybe no steelworks. Do you not see? And they went, actually, yeah, there is a beach at Port Kembla. Have you ever been to the beach at Port Kembla?
Let's just get to the story.
It's quite amazing. You look out to beautiful water, this azure water, and then you turn around and you're facing 180 degrees, this giant, horrible-looking steelworks.
And what about your bottom?
So anyway, I've convinced them to go 5 k's out of their way to Port Kembla. And because of the steelworks when I was operating at the time, that lets out a great deal of sulphur and stuff from smelting steel. So as we got in there...
You smelted it, delted it.
And I got a whiff of the sulphur, so I've just done the old... and the guy driving the car says... Gee, the steelworks are smelling off today.
The steelworks, they smell like flatulence?
Yeah, no, they smell like sulphur, but combined with mine, it smelled like hell.
Well, it's funny you should mention it because when my dad, years ago, it became family folklore that we drove past a spot where a horse had died because when we were just little, Dad had told us a horse had died in there. And it's only a few years ago, my brother said, he farted in the car. He put two and two together because it was family folklore. That's when, even as adults, we say, that's where the horse died. And Dad would go, yep, that's where it was.
It's still
and even
stinking.
he admitted. He just said it because he passed wind in the tiny Mini we were driving in.
So that's what you got to look out for, stinky infrastructure so you can let one go.
All right. Well, or you just walk around the block on your own.
You're welcome.
Ready, everybody, here is some more of Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor. Hey,
I thought we'd talk about RFK Jr. RFK Jr. is the son of Bobby Kennedy. And he was kind of an inspirational figure for some time. And now some people are saying, I thought you're amazing and now I really don't.
Right.
A couple of things have gone on with him. He was going to run as president this election. That didn't pan out for him, so he's thrown his weight behind Donald Trump, and the rest of the Kennedy clan have come out and said he does not speak for us, and our father would be hugely disappointed in him. He's got a voice like this.
Oh, yeah. So RFK would be JFK's grandson? Is that correct? Nephew.
RFK Jr. His father,
Yep.
Robert Kennedy,
Yep.
was the brother of JFK.
He got shot too.
Yeah, they've both been assassinated.
And who was...
RFK was married to Ethel Kennedy and had quite literally like 11 children.
Yep.
And he and all the other kids all the Kennedys have grown up with a sense of, with great privilege comes great responsibility. They have a huge work ethic in terms of charity, in terms of philanthropy. They're do-gooders.
Yeah, right.
And people...
And they're Democrats, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But his family is saying we don't approve of what RFK's doing.
Who was the one that died in the plane crash?
That was JFK's son.
Yep.
JFK Jr.
But they're saying he's going to come back? Didn't someone say...
Some crazy margers are saying, and not all Republicans are margers, I know when I say that, they're not. They've said that he never died and he is secretly pulling the strings from behind the scenes. And some other people say that it's Jim Carrey is actually him. It's just madness.
Right, so...
None of that's true. So
I just find more and more with American politics, if you speak about it, people are just so triggered. You can't even do jokes about Trump anymore.
You don't need to.
People go, well, why don't you do jokes about Biden? You go, well, he doesn't sound like a full-blown nut.
Well, have a listen to this. So RFK Jr., he talks like this. That's fine. He's had something happen to his throat. He also, a story emerged and he wasn't able to dispute it. His brain has been eaten by worms. He's got a brain worm.
Oh, so that's the thing. That's real.
That's real. He has a brain worm. Vanity Fair wrote a story about this and he wasn't able to dispute it, although he tried for a while to keep this information buried.
Did they give him some Combantrin?
It was in his brain, not his bum. Here are some other things that until there's new information about him. I'll save that till last.
Okay.
There was footage of him holding up an apparent barbecued dog. And you may remember that just recently a story came out where he had confessed to dumping a dead bear cub in Central Park and attempting to make it look like the animal had been killed by a bicyclist. Well, his daughter, apparently now the story has come out that apparently he likes to study animal skulls and skeletons. And what he did was there was a washed up whale on the beach.
Yep.
He ran down to the beach with a chainsaw. He cut off the whale's head. He bungee corded it to the roof of the family car and drove for 5 hours through New York. His daughter has said it's the rankest thing on the planet. His daughter is, so RFK Jr.'s daughter, the latest rumours are that she's going out with Ben Affleck. Oh. But apparently they're just friends.
I saw pictures. She's a pretty girl.
She is. Kick Kennedy is her name.
Yeah, okay.
There's so much. Also, RFK Jr. Let me just go. No, there's more.
There's so much to unpack. Can I just go back to the whale thing? Just some details.
What? You don't think that's enough?
Whales are quite big.
Yeah.
That would have been quite the feat to chop its head off and then put it on the roof of the family car. Yeah. Because it would be quite heavy.
You need more than a penknife.
Was it a small whale? Do we know?
Does it matter?
Well,
Does
yeah,
it
just
matter?
Curiously.
It's weird and it's insensitive.
Yeah.
And it's perverse. Also, there are stories, and if you're a fan of his, I'm sorry, but this is the stuff that is being written about, that his previous wife, he wrote a diary while he was married to her with a code about all the things he did with other women during that time. And she took her own life.
Oh, that's dreadful.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry for me laughing.
Yeah.
Hang on, so you wrote, what was the code?
Oh,
Oh, come on.
BJ, I saw Brendan Jones.
Again? Sorry.
But there was something like 30 separate women in a year.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so
how does he find the time?
He's had a checkered life.
So the wife discovered the diary.
His wife discovered the diary. They broke up, and about a year or so later, she took her own life. So there's a lot of swirling stuff around this man.
Yeah.
And now he's backing Trump. But, this still isn't the only weird story. What about, do you remember just a few months ago we learnt that, and she wrote about it in her own book, Kristi Noem, she's a Republican. She was the South Dakota governor.
Yep.
And she wrote this in the book. She was a contender to be the vice president at some point, Donald Trump's future running mate. She received pushback. What a shock when she admitted to shooting their pet dog in a quarry because it was trained to be a hunting dog. It had ruined a hunt. It had killed another family's chickens and had moved to bite her. So she shot it as a school bus was coming through the quarry that her children were on.
Yeah.
And this is interesting too. She said not only had she done that, she also killed a male goat that she said was nasty and mean. It smelt disgusting and it loved to chase her children, knocking them down and ruining their clothes. So she killed the goat in that gravel pit, but apparently that took 2 shots. And this isn't even the weirdest story about this election.
So if Kristi Noem says to you, let's go down to the quarry, it's probably don't go down there.
Don't go down there.
Keep well away.
And if RFK Jr. says to you, I'm fascinated by skeletons, run.
If he gets a tape measure and starts measuring your head.
Versus the top of his car, run.
With Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor. Yeah. Hey. Get ready, everybody, hear us some more. Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor. Yeah.
Your boyfriend, David Campbell, is Father of the Year.
Yeah, well, there's lots of
next
different...
to his old man, Jimmy Barnes.
They're joint Fathers of the Year.
Well, I can't compete with that sort of
but there's other
magnitude.
categories. There's
what do you
also...
mean no? Hang on, what do you mean no?
Well, no, there's also Community Leader, Community Father of the Year. There's Sporting Father of the Year. There's Best Workplace. Let me just have. Maybe I'm missing a page because your name's not on here.
You don't even have real papers. That's just the form guide. So you're pretending that my name is on some sort of list.
The Australian Fathering Awards celebrate 3 individual fathering categories and 1 workplace. So that's 4. Let me check again. Do you think you should be on it? Are you Father of the Year?
I think I should. Out of all my 3 children, I was there.
You've got 4. No, you don't.
I was there at all of their births.
Well, yes, they're at the conception.
No.
They're at the birth. That doesn't make you Father of the Year.
I'll say this. The last one, I saved his life. He came out, the cord was around his neck. The birth had gone on forever. And it ended up going into a theatre, not the lyric theatre, a theatre.
That ended well for Abraham Lincoln.
And so the doctor, he's saying, well, we've got a situation here. The baby's not coming out. Coincidentally, at the same time, a bunch of medical students all gowned up came into the theatre because what they were going to do, Helen's cervix hadn't come open enough for the little baby Dominic to come out. So all these students were in to watch what they thought was going to be a caesarean section. I'm there gowned up as well, just standing with the students. Anyway, at the last minute, Helen's cervix gave way and little Dom came out. But as he came out, the cord was around his neck. And I went, hey, cord around the neck. And the doctor said, good spot that student there. And he said, as you can see, the cord is around the child's neck. And he said, can you put your finger here? Still thinking that I'm a medical practitioner. Put your finger here.
This story gets more elaborate every time.
No, it's true. This is how it is. Because we're on a podcast and I can.
Where did you put the finger?
Between the cord and little Dominic's larynx. Because what happens a lot of times, little kids with gravelly voices, because the doctors nicked their...
as they were loosening the cord?
So I put the finger there. He got the scalpel and he said, that was some good work. What's your name? And I said, Brendan. And he goes, and how long have you been a student? And I said, I'm the father.
How young did you look? I'm the father.
And he looked around at the other
Short pants?
students and he just went, well, what's going on here? You idiots didn't see it. This guy. And I know I'm probably a man among men, but...
So did you go from room to room with the other students?
I reckon I could do it. So Well, you got some hemorrhoids there.
You got some hemorrhoids. Who needs a hip replacement?
Put your finger here. But what I'm saying is,
What are you saying?
The middle one, Romany, when she came out, she had been, Helen, my wife, is allergic to pethidine. And for those that don't know, that aren't in the medical trade like I am, pethidine had an adverse reaction to Helen and the little baby, Romany. So Romany came out there like this lifeless slug. So they had to give her Narcan to get her across the line. But once again, I was Johnny on the spot. I was there.
Well, yeah, of course you're there.
But the doctors, they were counting down 20, 30, 40, and then if this gets to 50, we're going to lose this kid.
No.
And little Roman, little lifeless slug. And he looked at me and he said, who are you? And I said, I'm the father, yet again. And he said, what we're doing, Mr. Jones, is your wife has had an adverse reaction to the pethidine. We're giving her Narcan. That's what they give the junkies when they took too much heroin. So they injected it into her foot. You know that movie Cocoon?
Yeah.
The old folks touching people and pink, the skin comes back to life.
Yeah.
That's what little Rome was like. And little, a lusty whale brought her into the world.
Were you dressed as a whale?
No, lusty whale, like a cry.
I need to ask you this, though, that being father of the year doesn't mean you were present at the birth.
Yeah, I think it does.
The intervening years also
I'm
matter.
just saying.
What else have you done that...
Okay, here's my final one.
Okay.
Why I'm father of the year. Morgan, I was there, Johnny on the spot, when he came out.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's not a good story because I was high on the gas and I thought...
They think you're a student again?
I thought, you know the little vacuum thing that they put on there?
Liam,
they
the
did it to
vacuum
Liam.
suck.
And he looked like Nefertiti when he came out. So I was so high when when Morgan came out, the suction thing broke off his head. I thought that the doctor had taken off Morgan's head. But I was so high, I thought, that's all right, he'll just stick that back on. When you're making a pottery, you know when you're making pottery on a wheel or something and a bit breaks off and you go, and you just stick it back on? I thought that was going to
I wish people could see my face right now. Do you think that's why you
did? A face of admiration.
Is that why you didn't get Father of the Year? Because you were off your face when he was born?
I just,
But it's not all about those, tell me one story where you've redeemed yourself. Wait.
Yeah.
I
know.
Well, congratulations to Jimmy Barnes and David Campbell. Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Worthy winners.
Okay, that's it for today. Come back tomorrow for more of Jonesy and Amanda's cutting room floor.